do that. I mean, we'll go over. Hi, everybody, following along. We'll go over the whole practice quiz today. That's the goal for today. So I would like to go over this warm up, every question, and then in the second part of class, I want to go through every question on the practice quiz. Basically want to make a key that I can post online, a video key that I can post online for the whole practice quiz. Because if you know what you're doing on the practice quiz, you will be fine on the actual quiz tomorrow. So let's get started, shall we? Factor by GCF with these first couple. I'm gonna move that down. Here we go. What's my GCF of my two terms here? No?
4x y.
4xy. Yeah, the full GCF is a 4xy. So that's what I want to divide out. How do I know that? Well, I look at the 4 and the 16, and they're both divisible by 4. That's the biggest number. Yeah, they're divisible by 2, but 4 is the biggest number. And you say, okay, well, it has an x and a y in common, so I pull out an x and a y. The powers are the smaller power on each one. And they're both, look, the smaller power on y is 1, the smaller power on x is 1 as well. That's why it's a 4xy. Now, I know it's going to happen tomorrow. Please don't let this be you. Some people will just identify what the GCF is and stop there. Please don't do that. I want you to factor by GCF. I want you to pull it out and show me what remains. So 4 divided by 4 cancels. X squared over x turns into just x. The y over y cancels. 16 over 4 turns into 4. X over x cancels. Y squared over y just turns into y. There is my answer. Yeah.
I just put x plus 4y. Is that right?
No, because I need to see the GCF on the outside.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
GCF always goes on the outside. All right, so number 2. What is my GCF here on number 2? Danielle? To the third. 3x to the third. Okay. So now this becomes an x squared, a 6x, and an 8. And there's my answer. Questions about that? Yeah, Kate.
From 6x, would it be wrong if I put 6x to the first?
That would be fine. Yeah, 6x to the first is totally fine. Yeah. Questions about that? Okay, the next one, factoring by grouping. Okay, factor by grouping here. Let me extend this out. All right. So I underline first 2 and last 2. Remember, I see 4-term polynomial. Underline first term, last term. What's my GCF out of my first 2? No?
6.
One more time.
6x to the second.
Good, there we go. 6x to the second. All right, that means we've got a 2x minus 3 on the inside. What's my GCF out of my second set of terms? My GCF out of my second set of terms. Somebody other than Noah. Nick, thank you.
5.
5, good. A positive 5, which leaves me with a 2x minus 3. And we see our common binomial of the 2x minus 3. And then the leftover pieces are the 6x squared and then the plus 5. And there's my answer. Questions about that? All right, let's take a look at our last 2 from the warm-up here. Now, again, these are 2 trinomials. One easy type, one hard type. Again, can somebody tell me what distinguishes between easy type and hard type? What's the difference? The number in front of the variable, right? The number in front of the variable means it's a hard type. If there's no number in front of the variable or the absence of a number in front of the variable, that would mean that it's an easy type, which means this first one here, number 4, is an easy type. I take a look at the factors of negative 56, and I see what factors add together to get negative 1. What are they? Danielle? -8, +7. Now, could I do the whole rewrite method? Yes, but you don't need to. Those are just my answers. Okay. That's why we call it the easy type, because you can just go straight to your answer. Second problem here. Now this is a hard type. And I know that because of that 8 sitting out front. So that means I got to find a master product, which is -24, and find the factors of -24 that add together to get +10. Anybody tell me what they are? What are the factors of -24 that add to get to +10?
12 and -2.
Good. 12 and -2. I'm going to put -2 first because I like to put the negative factor first. -2 times 12. Don't say 6 and 4. 6 and 4 won't work because 6 and 4 would both have to be positive to make 10. And I want a -24, not a +24. So 8x squared minus 2x plus 12x minus 3. All right, pull out the 2x, leaving a 4x minus 1. Pull out a 3, leaving a 4x minus 1. So just finishing it off, the common binomial is the 4x minus 1. The leftover pieces are the 2x plus 3. All right, so if you felt good about that warm-up, then you're going to be fine for tomorrow's quiz. There's a couple exceptions. We've got to go through a couple more things on the review. But honestly, if you felt good about that stuff, then I feel good about grading your quiz tomorrow. If you did not feel so good, I do not feel so good about grading your quiz tomorrow. Questions about that? Anything else on the warm-up before we move on? All right, so I'd like for you guys to walk me through some problems on this review sheet. Factor by GCF. So this is the review sheet. Go ahead and get that out. I'm going to talk through, well, actually, you guys are going to talk through some problems. You got this first one. Yeah.
No, like I'm serious. Like, don't.
No, it's okay. I'll walk you through it with. We'll do. This is a group project, me and you. That's okay. Does anything? No. Okay, so that's half the battle here. We see 18 and 11. There is no numerical portion of the GCF. But what do you see that they do both have in common? An x. So the rule is always just take the smaller power on x. So x squared is my GCF. And that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? Now, that's not our final answer. We got to do something with it now. We got to divide it out. Okay, so now I'm not dividing out any numbers. So 18 stays. What's my power on x? I had 5, I took away 2. Right. We bring down the 11. We had 2, I took them away. And then, okay, now I'm done. That's my answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's essentially all you do on those factor by GCF ones. Yes, it.
Oh, I was gonna do that.
Oh, I'm calling random names here. So that would be crazy if I pulled your name right next, but it's not. It's Solomon. Solomon, what'd you get for your GCF at number 2?
4y squared.
Good, 4y squared. What do you get for the leftover pieces?
4y squared plus 3y minus 1.
Very good, and that is a correct answer. I pull out the 4y squared. They're all divisible by 4. The smallest power on y is a y squared, and then I divide it out. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Y squared pulled out, y to the 4th, pulled out 2 of them is a y to the 2nd. 12 divided by 4 is a 3. I had 3, I pull out 2, I get y to the 1st. And then my GCF is my full last term, so that's why it turns out to be a minus 1 sitting out there on the end. Okay, number 3 goes to Danielle. Danielle, what's your GCF of number 3 here? 3AB. AB. Because they all have an A in common as well, right? So now, when I divide out 3AB, I'm going to write this one out here. I always think the ones with the multiple variables are the most difficult because there's a lot to keep track of. What's left in my first term, Danielle? Good. What's left out of my second? Hold on a second. What's left out of my second term? What's left out of my third term?
-7.
Good. And that's my correct answer. Questions on number 3? Again, if you need to go back and pause anything in this video, by all means. I'm gonna kind of go through this a little bit quicker because, again, this was an assignment due yesterday. What's that? And there's a lot. Number 4, factor by grouping. Gio, I'm gonna factor the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms. What's my GCF out of my first 2 terms, Gio?
You don't have one.
I do, not a numerical one.
Oh yeah, x squared.
Good. And then what's left over after I divide that out?
It would be 4x and -3.
Good. What's my GCF out of my second 2?
2.
Yeah. And what's left over after I divide that out?
X squared and plus 2.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
No, negative. No.
okay. I'm here. I'm right here.
Yeah.
After I divide out that 2, what's left over here? 8x divided by 2.
4.
6 divided by 2.
-3.
Right. Now, here's what you're saying. The 4x, you were kind of a step ahead of me. Yikes. The 4x minus 3 is my common binomial. And then you were saying, okay, the x squared plus 2 is my other piece. Good. That's my final answer there. Questions about that one? Let's do one more factoring by grouping problem. Number 5 here. Nick, you want to do this one with me?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay? Let's factor by grouping here. What's my GCF out of my first 2 terms?
Negative or 2x to the second.
Good. Positive 2x to the second, right? 2x squared. What's left over on the inside then?
-7.
What's left over here?
4x.
Good. And then what's my GCF out of my second set?
-5.
And I'm glad you said -5, a -5. Why did you say -5?
Because there's a negative out front.
Yeah, because that right there. All right, and what's left over on the inside then?
-4x.
Ooh, positive.
Plus 4x.
Yeah. And then what?
-7.
Good. And the reason I say that is because these have to match. It's got to be a positive 4x. And then the leftover pieces are the 2x squared minus 5. Questions about 5? Okay, I've got 6, 7, and 8 all up on the board there at the same time. The reason being is, should I need to show a lot of work for these problems? No. The only thing that you would really need to show are the list of factors if you wanted to. Anna, what did you get for number 6 here?
X plus 5 and then x plus 3.
Very good. That is correct. Factors of 15 that had to get to 8 are 5 and 3. You could have the order switched around, and that's totally fine. Noah, what'd you get for number 7?
Or y minus 7, y minus 8.
Good. Y minus 7, y minus 8. Factors of positive 56 that had to get to negative 15. Negative 7, negative 8. And number 8, we've got Hayden. What'd you get for 8?
X plus 7, x minus 4.
Yeah, m minus 7, m plus 4. Good. Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, I was going to say this anyway. If I had different variables on the quiz and you change them to x, that's totally fine. I will not take off points for that. Factors of negative 28 that had to get to negative 3 are negative 7, positive 4. Questions on 6, 7, or 8 before we move on to 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, Solomon?
Does it matter if like the 7 and the 4 is switched around?
No, but it does matter if you switch around the signs. Like you couldn't have a minus 4 plus 7, but you can have m plus 4, then the m minus 7. That's fine. Okay, let's take a look at the next 3. Number 9 here. Nolan, what'd you get for number 9? Good. And then r plus 12. That's kind of a tricky one because the number got a little big there. 48, factors of 48 that had to get to positive 8 are negative 4, positive 12. Negative 4 plus 12 is positive 8. Negative 4 times 12 is a negative 48. Number 10, Tommy.
X minus 5 and then x plus 6.
The other way around. X minus 6, x plus 5. The way you gave it to me, I would have had a plus x in the middle, not a minus x. And then number 11. Rose, what'd you get for number 11? You got prime? Watch out. And this trips a lot of people up. It's always the simplest answer that trips a lot of people up. The factors of 12 that add to get to 13. 1 and 12. And since it's negative, you just do negative 1, negative 12. Does that make sense? M minus 1, M minus 12. Can I tell you a secret? It's not so secret. There's no prime ones on the quiz tomorrow. I'd hate for you to put a prime answer, not show any work, and then be like, oh, shoot, I missed all the points because I said it was prime. All right, let's keep it going. Any questions on 9 through 11 before I flip to the next page? All right, we got 2x squared plus 11x plus 15. Henry, let me write it down here. 2x squared plus 11x plus 15. What am I going to find the factors of, Henry?
11.
No, factors of. What am I going to find the two things that multiply to? What's that?
15.
No. This is a hard type. 30, Henry. 30. 2 times 15. So, Henry, let me ask you, what are the factors of 30 that add to get to 11? 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Okay, so that means we got a 2x squared plus 5x plus 6x plus 15. Henry, what's my first GCF? Good, leaving us with a 2x plus 5. What's my second GCF?
3.
Good, a plus 3. Leaving us with a 2x plus 5. So my answers are the 2x plus 5 and the leftovers x plus 3. 3y squared plus 2y minus 8. All right, so my next question goes to Kenny. What am I going to find the factors of here?
Negative.
Oh, be careful. I'm on 13.
I put the wrong number on my calculator. I just.
That's okay.
24.
Negative 24, right? What are the factors of negative 24 that are adding going to get to positive 2?
Positive 6 and minus 4.
Good. And I like to put the negative factor first. So I'm going to say negative 4 times positive 6. So that gives me a 3y squared minus 4y plus 6y minus 8. Factor by grouping. Kenny, what's my GCF out of the first two terms here?
3.
Oh, watch out. Oh, I might be different from you. Because I bet you did 6y first.
Yeah.
Is that, you know what? I'll do it your way. Again, just to kind of show you that it also works as well. Plus 6y and then minus 4y. All right, so you said a 3y, right? All right, so leaving pulling the 3y out leaves a y plus 2. What's my GCF out of my second set then? Negative 4. Good. Minus 4, which leaves me with a y plus 2. Common binomial is the y plus 2. 3y minus 4 is my leftovers. Questions about that? Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Here's 14 and 15. 14 goes to Preston. Preston, what am I going to find the factors of? 100. So I have, here's 14. We got 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. And he says, correctly, 100. Preston, what are the factors of 100 that add to get to negative 20? What are the factors of 100 that add to get to positive 20? 10 and 10, right? So I'm just going to make that negative. Negative 10, negative 10. So we have a 4x squared minus 10x minus 10x plus 25. Now remember, this is a special case here, right? So that means that I can come down here, and as part of my answer, I know that I'm going to end with that binomial squared, right? That's what that's telling me when I have that double factor. All right, so Preston, what's my GCF out of my first two terms? Yeah. And that leaves me with a 2x minus 5. What's my GCF out of my second set? What are those supposed to be divisible by?
5.
5. And it leaves with a negative, so it's got to be negative 5. Which leaves me with a 2x minus 5. Okay, so my solution, my common binomial is the 2x minus 5. My leftover pieces are the 2x minus 5. So I'm just going to rewrite it as one single 2x minus 5 squared. Kind of ran out of room here. That's all right, though. Yes?
If we didn't, like, put it squared like that, if it was on the test, would, like...
I want you to do it like this, but if I saw that, I wouldn't be mad at you. All right, number 15 here. We've got 9a squared plus 24a plus 16. All right, Ella, you got this one. What am I going to find the factors of? 144. Yeah, that's flying around. Anybody see that? Flying right in my face here. 144. I swear it was there. I swear, I'm not crazy.
No one else saw it, so...
I know. Give me a handbook. Ella, what are the factors of 144 that add to get to 24? 12 and 12. Good. So now I know this. I know it's going to end up like that, right? Because I know it's a double factor. It's a perfect square. So 9a squared plus 12a plus 12a plus 16. Ella, what's my GCF out of my first two? 3a. Leaving a 3a plus 4. And what's my GCF out of my second two? Leaving a 3a plus 4. So that means I've got a 3a plus 4 as my common binomial and a 3a plus 4 as my leftovers. So 3a plus 4 squared. We good? Which one?
Or 3a plus 4.
This one?
Yeah, no.
No?
The inside.
This one? Because when I knew my GCF was going to be 4, I'm just dividing those by 4. So 16 divided by 4 is a 4 right there. Oh, well, that would be an issue. I don't know what you got. Maybe you looked at the 12 and just saw 3.
Maybe.
All right, any other questions on 14 or 15?
Is this the negative one?
This is the negative one. Okay, so let's see who's got the negative one. Brianna,
Hi.
you got the negative. So what is that negative telling me to do?
You have to divide by -1.
Yeah, I've got to divide by -1 right off the bat to get it pulled out so that my leading coefficient is no longer negative, because it's got to be formal, and the formal way to factor this is by removing a -1 right off the bat. And essentially, what does that do to my signs on the inside?
They're going to be flipped, so it'll be 2x instead of -6x plus 1.
Good. And then I see a heart. Now, actually, I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to bring down this -1. And if this is on your quiz tomorrow, and there will be one like this on your quiz tomorrow, I would do this on your answer blank. Right away. If you see a negative right out front, go right there. Put your -1 parenthesis. All right, Brandon, what am I going to find the factors of?
60.
Good. Now, what are the factors of 60 that add to get to -17?
I have -12 and -5.
Good. -12, -5 works. You know what somebody tried to tell me last period? 20 and 3. Negative 20, positive 3. Will negative 20, positive 3 work? Right. Well, this has to be negative 17, but it's got to be negative. It's got to be positive 60. So negative 20, positive 3 does not get me does not give me positive 60. Well, it does give me negative 17 on the inside. This would have to both be negative, and that's not 17, that's 23.
So you flip the numbers before you factor it out?
Yes. Yeah. So in this case, we've got, again, like Brown had correctly said, did you put the negative 12 first or the 5 first? You just want to do it your way. The 12? Okay. So negative 12 times negative 5. All right. So 2x squared minus 12x minus 5x plus 30. What's my GCF out of my first two? 2x, leaving an x minus 6. What's my GCF out of my second two? Good. Leaving an x minus 6. So now I can catch back up with my negative 1. The common binomial is the x minus 6. The leftover pieces are the 2x, then the minus 5.
We just put a negative, not like a negative 1.
Oh, we just put a negative 1. All right, questions on that? Okay, now these last two are very similar. Why? Because first off, they're only binomials. And there's only one way to factor a binomial, is if it's a difference of squares. What's a difference of squares mean? Well, first off, it's got to be a difference. Got to be a subtraction sign in the middle. And they've got to be perfect squares, right? So that's what I need to check for all of these. So we've got Brennan. Brennan, number 17, is that a minus sign in between? Yeah. Is x squared a perfect square? Yes. And how do we know a variable? Do you know? How do you know when a variable is a perfect square? When it's an even power. So x squared is good. Is 4 a perfect square? Let's test it. Is 4 a perfect square?
Yeah.
Yes. So we know that this will factor into a difference of squares, which means a minus and a plus. Square root x, square root x. Squared, we get x. Square root 4 we just saw was 2. There's my answer. Same type of thing there for 18. Nathan, who got lucked? Sid got lucked. You the only one I didn't call? Nathan, is that a minus sign in between?
No. Wait, yes, sorry. I was like lost, sorry.
Is that a minus sign in between?
Yes.
There we go. Is 9x squared a perfect square?
Yes.
Is 25 a perfect square?
Yes.
So is this a difference of squares?
Yes.
Yes. So now I can go to my parentheses. We'll put a minus and a plus. And what's inside my parentheses?
3x plus 5 and 3x minus 5.
Good. A 3x and a 5. 1 plus, 1 minus. Remember that for every single problem, here, Sid, you can answer this question. Sid, how would I check every one of these answers? Reverse it. Multiply it back together, right? I would FOIL them back together or distribute, whatever you need to do. Multiply it back together and you should get your initial problem. So, on tomorrow's quiz, if you're questioning any one of your answers, multiply it back together. That's the easiest way to check it. Okay? All right, we were successful, people. We got through that entire review sheet. Are there any other questions before we conclude today?
Are smiling faces on top of our heads extra credit again?
I don't know. Maybe you should watch the video. Maybe I'll put some in the video.
Okay.
The videos, you're not
I'll
going
look.
to stop the video.
No, the one from yesterday.
Oh.
Maybe we should watch the video yesterday. Maybe we'll know.
Okay.
Tell us firsthand, so we're